Okay, so as humans experiencing the human life on this planet, one part of that human life requires sleeping. And we sleep for quite a long time, whether it's 5, 6, or 8 hours a night. That's going to be a significant portion of your lifetime that's going to be spent lying down in a bed or on the floor. Now, when we think about sleeping, oftentimes we think about one singular position. Some people say like, oh, I sleep in this position, or I sleep in this position, etc., etc. But if you think about it, there probably are not very many nights where you only stay in one position. There are some people that do that, and we have some very soft, comfortable beds now that are designed to keep us not moving. However, some of my best movement, some of my best opening of my body, some of my best stretches have come in the middle of the night when I'm subconsciously rolling about my bed. So I personally believe that movement in the middle of the night while we're sleeping is a very good thing. If we can imagine we were sleeping on the hard ground, like our ancestors might have, on some harder surfaces, not some Tempur-Pedic mattresses with temperature-controlled gauges and height differentials. We were sleeping on the ground, and we had to make sure that we were comfortable. And in order to make sure we're comfortable, we do fidgeting. We fidget a lot. We adjust our position until we find a comfortable position. And once we find a comfortable position, it might only be comfortable for 15, 30, an hour at a time. And then the pressure from the hard ground surface or soft mat on the ground, we'd want to roll over to another side. So I think it's really important that we continue this natural process of moving during the night. And if we continue to move during the night, of course, like anything, there are ways that we can move that really help us or ways that don't help us. An extremely good indicator is if you go to bed and when you wake up, you feel more tight, you feel more restricted, or you feel more tension throughout your body. It's my personal belief that we should go to bed and we should wake up feeling much better in our physical health, neurologically, and in our brain. Obviously, that would be the top of the pyramid. So today I just want to talk about movement in a bed setting and how we can program that, recode that, so that when we do move, we're really getting some good opening stretches and movement qualities that can help us throughout our day and throughout our life if we're spending so much time in the bed. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sleep position. My favorite sleep position, and the one that is very safe for humans and is not really talked about too much, and that's the side fetal position. Now, because we do have even this day bed that I'm on is about 6 inches of cushion, even that is enough to start to distract my sensation of what it really means to own my side fetal. So let me talk about that. The best way to learn side fetal is to do it on the hard surface ground. It will force you to find the soft places of your body and to create your own pillows from your hips, from your shoulders, etc., instead of allowing an external object like a bed frame with a mattress to do it. But let's get ourselves in the side fetal and just talk about this for a second. So with that side fetal, I'm going to be laying on my side, obviously, and my feet are going to be hugging each other. My feet aren't going to be splayed out, crisscross like this. They're going to be hugging each other. That's going to create a really safe environment for my feet and also just complete the whole entire circle of my body. Especially if I clasp my hands, now my entire body is one whole circuit instead of everything being splayed out like this. So we want those feet to be hugged, really good for the feet, really great for the ankles. And also I've got really good control of what's going on with my legs here. I'm gonna tuck them beneath my butt, and then I'm gonna use my feet to pull my butt just a little bit back. Push my back, so I'm kind of like a plank position right here. Like a big stretch, gonna get in a big stretch, and then tuck my feet back. Now from my hips, I wanna be on one side of my hip on the soft part of the outside. And then my underhand, this is gonna be really important. What we're gonna do here, a lot of people will stay in this position and say, I'm on the side, But what this position looks like if we took it upright, it looks like this. And we don't necessarily want this to be our side position. Our side position actually has a lot more curvature than we think. If you look at indigenous people, homeless people, or people who sleep on hard surfaces, they naturally have to do what cats and dogs do, which is create their own circular, safe structure that looks like this, where I'm tucking myself into protection. This is if some outside force was coming into me, I would create my own protection by contracting a little bit on that side and hiding my tissue. When we're on a soft bed surface, we don't feel like we need to protect ourselves, so it's okay to kind of open up and stretch. If we're opened up in that same way, that can lead to some problems down the line. So with a true side fetal position, which I think that everyone should have the ability to do, doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but you should at least know how to do it on a hard surface and at least be able to get somewhat of a good sleep. So in this side fetal position, we got our feet tucked, our hips are pulled back just a little bit to create some length in that spine. And the first thing I want you to do is to take your top hand and put it next to your ear. I'm gonna lift myself up, and then I'm gonna take that same side shoulder right here, and I'm gonna shrug it down and compact, like I'm driving my elbow into my hip. I'm gonna find that side bend. So I'm going from here to here. And once I find that side bend, then I'm gonna shoot my elbow up without losing that side bend. Now I've got a space underneath here. And I'm just gonna continue to ball myself up here. My hand is gently on the outside of my temple with a space between my ear and the ground so I can hear everything around me. My other hand can come gently in front. It can come to my hip. I really like this position right here. I have to find the soft outside part of my shoulder and tuck it back in a way. If I'm doing this right, it feels like my shoulder is being pushed down and back, not forward and out. It's being pushed down and back, just like my hips are going back. Everything is going back. The front of my body is open. I've got a side bend on the side that's near the bed, and the opposite side is open right here. In this position, when I breathe, I can really breathe into this open side. Feel everything expand up and then come down. I have one side that's protecting me and one side that is open to breathe. This is an extremely comfortable position, and a lot of people say that the left side is the best side in terms of digestion and circulation. However, like I talked about, I'm probably going to want to switch. My shoulder might get fatigued, my hip might get fatigued. I just might want to change it up a little bit. So let's talk about that change up. In that change up, there's a couple ways we can do that. We can do the old dog style change up. And do something like that. Or we can do something a little bit more gentle and a little bit better for our movement. What that looks like from the backside is I'm here in this side fetal position. I'm gonna shoot my underhand forward and up, trying to get my armpit, the bottom of my armpit, to get on the mattress. I'm gonna shoot this forward and up, and I'm gonna look forward and up as I shoot my legs, and now I'm in this starfish position. From this starfish position, I'm gonna collect myself back into side fetal by driving that bottom hand elbow into me. The first movement that happens is I turn my upper body, I drive this elbow, tuck my knees in, collect myself into my side fetal, and make adjustments. And now I'm here back in the side fetal. And so throughout the night, you can imagine I'm going from one position where I'm opening one side and compressing, getting some really good activation on the other side. And then I'm opening starfish, coming to the other side for this side fetal. Opening and side fetal. Okay, so there's many different ways that we can do this. This is just the very rudimentary ways for us to go from one side to the other and really own this side fetal position. There's many different ways that you can sleep, and I highly encourage that we start to think about the ways every single time that I do this, I'm opening stretch. Think about all the different ways that we can move from side to side and roll around the bed in ways that are good for us and not ways that are going to increase tension in the body. But going to allow us to fully open up and own all the ranges of the positions of sleeping here. Sleeping should feel very good to us, and like I said, we should feel well rested and also ready to go throughout our day. So if you wake up and you've got tension, I highly encourage that you look at a few different things. Number one, look at your bed. Is your bed too soft or is it too firm for you? What kind of sleeping environment are you in? And number two, I want you to look at your movement during sleep. What kind of positions are you in and what kind of transitions do you have? So we have positions and transitions. Both are very important. It's very difficult for us to sleep at one place during the night. And in fact, if we think about it, if you're in one position all night, everything is just kind of settling. That water is getting stagnant. We actually want it to be moving about like a myofascial release all night. And the third thing is I want you to look at your breathing. If at night you're doing that kind of breathing, increasing tension, increasing your nervous system is staying up, then you can wake up, have a lot of tightness in this lower abdominal region or in the upper neck, traps, and shoulders. So those are some really three big hard-hitting points of looking at your environment, looking at the positions and transitions, and then making sure that your breath is nice and comfortable for the entire night. And having a good environment to where you can just feel rested and good. Those are my thoughts on sleeping and the side fetal position. I hope this video has helped you or has just illuminated, turned on some light bulbs. If you need anything else or you have some other questions, please feel free to reach out. Would love to have conversations about this because we are moving bodies, we are constantly moving. And if a big majority, a third of our life, a quarter of our life is spent in the bed, it's a really good idea to look at the different positions, transitions, and movements that we have during that time of our life. This is Coach Bam. Have a great day.